Hello, hometowns are here. My most favorite episode of the season because we get to find out more about these guys, their family, where they came from. But break out the tissue because it's a night of pure emotion. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more psychological analysis on reality dating shows. Welcome to Reality TV Therapy with me, Dr. Diane. In today's video, there is just so much content. I'm breaking it down into two parts. Part one, I'm going to go over the first three hometown dates. Part two, the second three. But what I want to suggest is that we rate these families. We're not ranking them, rank order, but rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'd love for you to join me. 1 is that was a horrible hometown, the worst ever. 10, that was great, the best hometown ever. But I want to help you make this applicable for you. Have you ever met your boyfriend's family, your husband's family, and thought, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because this is where the psychological content is. How do we handle families? All right, stay tuned. In this one, we have got Gabby and Jason, Rachel and Zach, and Gabby and Johnny. Let's start with the first hometown, Gabby and Jason. They're in New Orleans, Bourbon Street. Jason looks a little bit overwhelmed, and he mentions it immediately to Gabby while they're throwing beads. And I have to say, something's going on with Jason. But we meet Jason's dad. What a sweet man. He brings Gabby flowers. We don't see that very often. Clearly, he's very sweet. He's very connected to his son. But what I'm paying attention to is Jason's body language in this entire episode. Dad says to Jason, wow, it was a great experience. And Jason says, let's say it was a crazy experience. Jason's dad is, this could be my potential daughter-in-law. I want to be the best man at your wedding. But Jason's not quite there. Next up, we meet Jason's sister and his mother. If you recall, he comes out of the limo. He says to Gabby, I'm in love with 3 women, my mother, my sister, and my dog. We meet mom Karen, sister Kelsey. They're great. Everybody likes each other. Gabby loves them. I'm thinking this hometown is going great. It's like a 9 or a 10. It's awesome. Jason is more shut down. Compared to the Jason that we met in Paris, can you see it in his body language? Listen to him talk about how overwhelmed he's been. Is it that Gabby's too much or just too much for Jason? Because it sounds to me like Jason's having a processing issue. Does he have, in my mind, as a therapist, I'm thinking, does he have ADD, social anxiety, HSP? Is he a highly sensitive person? And all along, Gabby is perceptive. She knows that he's reserved and he's quiet. But I'm thinking there's something else that's going on. If we think about all the people you've ever seen on the show, how many people have been that overwhelmed and talk about it in that way? So what doesn't fit for me, honestly, is that this family is very bright. Dad's an MD, mother's educated, sister is a doctor. They're emotional and they're close, but now what we're seeing from Jason is some avoidant behaviors. I need my space. I need time to process all of it. I'm not going to rush the process. Wait, Jason, do you know what show you're on? We have 2 weeks and you have to get it together. Now, this is where I look at the mother. Mama always knows best. She asks Jason a great question. Have you had this conversation with Gabby? Like, you need to be telling her because she's all in. But I'm also getting the feeling that there is some history here because Mama's with tears in her eyes saying, are you afraid of what you're going to lose with Gabby? Has he lost before? So it felt a little bit like, Barb, don't let her go. But there's a forewarning here, and so I think there's somehow a pattern. But overall, I want to say what started out as a great hometown, level 10, drops to a 5 for me because now Jason has pulled back. He's taken a step back, and that is disappointing. I was like totally team Jason, but now I'm not feeling it. And it reminds me a little bit of Peter Krause on Rachel Lindsay's season, where he was like, why do we get engaged? Engagements are silly. I'm just worried that we're going to hear more of that. Stay tuned. All right, let's get to hometown number 2, Rachel and Zach. They're in Orange, California. Zach is beaming. Love the hooju between these two of them. He takes her up to a rooftop. This is so touching, where they're watching the planes just like he had talked about in the movie. We go home and we meet Zach's parents. They are huge fans of their son. They talk very highly of Zach. Everybody is a huge Zach fan. There's nothing bad to say here. His dad says, yes, you could get hurt, but you could also have your life filled with love. So much positivity. They get to watch the movie. They get to watch the clips back. I think, how did that happen? Well, he's got this famous uncle too from Kronk, and that's so fun. So how do I rate this family? What do you think? I'm thinking it's a solid 8. I would have given it a 10, but I'm a little bit worried about Rachel. She's a little bit holding back as I see it. She thinks very positively of him. I do believe she has feelings for Zach, but for me, this feels more like friendship vibes, not as much attraction as I've seen with her and Tino. So I like Zach so much. I think he's wonderful family, did a great job, but I'm just a little bit worried about Rachel at this point. Let me know what you think. All right, hometown number 3, Gabby and Johnny. Now, if you noticed, even Gabby dressed a little bit sexy. She's coming down the dock like, hey, this is my man, and he knows he's good looking, and I know he's good looking, and you know he's good looking, and Gabby just knows what's going on. Now, his date felt really fun. It felt a lot to me like Tyler Cameron. They're in Florida. They're riding a boat. He's super close with his family. And Gabby just slips right into this family. They're chatting like they've known each other forever. So much positivity. The parents are all on board. In fact, I felt like, similar to Jason's, the parents are like upselling it more than their son is. Mom's, says, you would be lucky if Johnny focuses on you. But she also says, Johnny loves love. And I'm thinking, does he get too connected too quickly? Dad, there's a little cautioning. Does Johnny have his finances together? But overall, I gave it high marks for the family support. But we're back to Johnny now, saying he's not sure if he's ready. So I would take that as an 8-10 date. That's now dropped to another 5 for me. Only because I am questioning Johnny's commitment. And as you recall in one of the previews, we saw possibly Gabby saying, I want a man, not a boy. So I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm just wondering, does Johnny have it together? He is one of the youngest guys. Is he quite there where Gabby needs him to be? Follow me for part 2, where I'm going to get into the next 3 hometown visits.